Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Sabans, and welcome you guys to another episode of the DREAMERSPRO show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we'll give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we got an excellent show for you guys. Before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and sub to the channel. So, as you all know, Shannon Sharpe has been making headlines over the last 2 weeks now, ever since that bombshell lawsuit dropped against him where he was being sued for $50 million. Then after that, we heard an audio drop. Then we heard another audio drop. Then we heard a story from FOS, Front Office Sports, that there was a suit that took place, I think, at FS1 in 2023, one of those years, a case that was settled for several hundred thousands of dollars, apparently or allegedly. In the story, Shannon Sharpe had an altercation with his former female PA or something like that. You had that go on. Then you had another story of a lady by the name of Michelle Evans come out. And it's just been one thing after the other, one thing after the other, one thing after the other. And everybody's waiting on this story. Everybody, literally. Even Stephen A. Smith, who used to have Shannon Sharpe on ESPN First Take 2 times a week, even he weighed in on it. So last night, I was going through the internet, and I came across a clip where apparently Ryan Clark, who also works at ESPN, who you've seen him and Shannon Sharpe on certain segments on ESPN First Take. There was that famous segment where he called him out for his crazy LeBron takes, and he was talking about Jordan and Kobe and all of that. That back and forth went viral and all of that. So he's been on air with Shannon Sharpe. I'm sure he knows him on a personal level, right? So he was discussing this on his podcast, the situation rather, on his podcast. And as he was talking about it, he gave a position that a lot of people, I think, agree with, including myself, because I gave a similar sentiment, where he was essentially saying that, look, yes, you could be a victim in this. You could be targeted in this. You could be being targeted in this. But at the same time, you played a role in putting yourself in the situation that you find yourself in. Like, let's not absolve ourselves here from accountability. Shannon Sharpe ain't no small boy. Okay, that's a grown-ass man. 55-plus-year-old grown. That's not no child that we're dealing with here. And he said, you ought to know better. And he said, a major part of this problem here has to do with decision making, to use his words. So these are the comments that we want to focus on today. But before we even get into what Ryan Hart had to say, today's video is brought to you by our sponsor, Game Time. One of the things I love the most is making unforgettable memories with family and friends. And one of the things I hate the most is overpaying for tickets only to find out that there was a better deal out there. That's one of the reasons I started using Game Time. Game Time is the easy go-to app for last-minute tickets to sports, concert, and theater events across 60-plus states in the US and Canada. Game Time saves me time, money, and stress by curating only the best deals, so I'm not wasting a whole bunch of time scrolling through overpriced tickets. Game Time Picks is my favorite tool. It highlights the best value seats instantly. No more guesswork, no more wasting time. For example, I am super excited about this Game 2 matchup between the Los Angeles Clippers and the Denver Nuggets. Here's what I like to do. I turn on all-in pricing so I know exactly what I'm paying for up front. I check Game Time Picks to find out the most valuable deals. And finally, I pick the ticket I want. I choose between the cheapest deal, the great deal, or the amazing deal. Once you select the ticket you want, you can use their panoramic seat view to ensure you know exactly what you're getting before you buy. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the app, create an account, and use code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Again, create an account and use redeem code CLNS for $20 off. And remember, whenever you support this sponsor, you're supporting this channel. Thank you. So what we want to do now is want to play exactly what Ryan Clark had to say about the Shannon Sharpe situation and his level of culpability and all of it. And then we're going to come back and continue on the show. Take a listen to Ryan here.
To whom much is given, much is required, right? And once you've reached a certain stature, it's like the old folks always used to tell you, boy, don't let that money go to your head, right? And now, a lot of times people just are who they are. And you're looking at Shannon, his brand has never really been anything that said he might not be into some of the things that we're learning, right? You could go back to the IG Live, or you could listen to some of the things that he promotes as sponsors of his show, or just certain ways he talks about women during nightcap or whatever it is, right? Like, Unc ain't never hid that. And that's not illegal, though, right? And like I say, people are gonna feel how they feel about the age gap and what that means to them, right? My preference isn't that. If I have, and I do have a 20-year-old daughter, my preference for her, my advice to her, the things that I will and will not be comfortable with for her aren't that, right? I wouldn't be comfortable with my daughter who is 20 dating someone his age, but that's also not illegal. When you start getting tied into some of the things he is being charged with, accused with, or has allegedly done, no man wants to be associated with those things that's not his intent and that's not his heart. And so my biggest thing for him is if these aren't actions that are of him, I hope that he's cleared of them. Right. And then for the young lady, if these are things that has happened to her, you hope that she's able to process that and in some way feel like she has been not only compensated, but that she has sought and found the justice that she's looking for. But it's like you said, period. It's just a bad look. Whether it's the text messages, whether it's the voice messages, whatever it is, it's a bad look. And it's a testimony for these young men who are getting their name called tonight to keep your nose clean, watch your front, watch your back, and surround you with people who truly support you. That's your family, that's your friends, that's the woman or significant other you choose. Because those people, a lot of times, will bring you down more than you'll bring yourself down. And I think that's what we're kind of witnessing here. A man who's at the height, talking about getting $100 million deal, and now you're dealing with this. It's about decision making, bro.
That's what it is.
So you heard what Ryan Clark had to say. I 100% concur with him. This is what I've been saying. You know, I said that it could be possible that Shannon is being targeted. But the part that I just can't wrap my head around is how Shannon found himself in a situation like this. And to be frank with you, messing with the caliber of women that he's messing with. How is this even possible? I mean, you're Shannon freaking Sharpe. And I also made an example about this on one of the lives that we did. I think when the second story came out about Michelle Evans, I was like, you know what? At that level, you need to be a little bit more judicious. You need to be a little bit more picky. And you need to understand who you are. And there's no way that any old woman can just get in your presence. I said this. I even gave the example of some women, not all women, but some women. Some women, they don't hide their face about it. Some women make it clear that there's only one or a certain caliber of man that they're going to associate with. And that's exactly what they do. And if you don't fall within that category, they're not messing with you. And some women say, I want this, like some women go for the top of the top men out there. And that's all they're going for. And if you don't meet that criteria, that's it. Now, some people will say that's superficial, etc., etc., etc. But what you understand about women like this is you know exactly where they stand. And they understand not any old man can just toast them up or talk to them and get there. It just ain't gonna happen. In the case of a man like Shannon Sharpe, you are quite literally at the top of the game in your industry. One of the 5 biggest names in the industry. You were in line to sign $100 million contract. How many people talking sports do you hear that are in line to get $100 million? How many do you hear? Right? You're in that select group. You're on ESPN. You're a former football Hall of Famer. Or, you're a former NFL player. You're a Hall of Famer. I'm sorry, but not any woman can just get in your presence. I mean, in a gym and you see a chick that's like, whatever, how old is she? And nah. We got to be a little bit more selective. And when you understand who you are, you don't just let any old woman get in your presence. I mean, I'm just keeping it real. And some men understand that. Some men, you just, no. Some men are very, very selective. Some men, they not just going for any old girl. And it got to be more than you're pretty. I mean, it just is what it is. They have certain standards. They only have a certain class of women that they're going to associate themselves with to avoid all of this kind of nonsense and this mess and this nastiness that's going on here. I also said that video of Shannon with the audio and all of that. I said, you opened up yourself to enter into the ratchet section of the internet. Some people thought, oh, that was a major win. Nah, it wasn't a major win. It wasn't a major win. Going online, bragging about knocking down OnlyFans models, that's not a win. Not at that level. Not when you're dealing with the caliber sponsors this, Shannon. It's not a win. All of that stuff can be said off camera. It doesn't need to be said on camera. But some people are egging him, oh, man, you a hater. And I'm like, nope, I'm not a hater. And when you've opened up yourself to that type of nonsense, all of this stuff seems plausible. That's what Ryan Clark said. It became your brand. It became your brand. So now you got to live up to this brand that you created, this persona, which is crazy because it was unnecessary. I said it. I supported Shannon all the way up into that nonsense with that Michelle audio. And it was supposed to be this big mistake and all of this stuff. We did shows about it. And then we all tuned into that live. I'll never forget. At one point, there were 164,000 people watching Shannon Sharpe live. And at the beginning of the live, there's a pre-recorded commercial of some sex product. And I'm like, I'm lost. I thought this is a mistake. How do you have this pre-recorded ad already? Then you turn on the live starts. Then you're up there promoting this product. Then you're bragging. I'm like, I thought you apologized. I'm confused here. And then everybody started realizing, oh, this is just a play. And it was all fun and games, right? Oh, just fun and games. Let Unc do his thing. Unc. Well, now look. This is what happens when you open up yourself and you invite yourself into Ratchet City. As they say, you lie down with dogs, you will catch fleas. And this is what happened. And Ryan Clark ain't told a damn lie. We're going to keep it a buck on this situation. These are my thoughts. Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. We catch you on the next show and I'm out. Peace.